Brittney Griner, who was imprisoned in Russia in a man's prison.
Brittney Griner is under fire for extremely aggressive behavior portrayed toward Caitlin Clark. She is black, she is gay, and she is a woman. But had that been just like a straight white girl, my guess is that straight white girl would probably still be rotting. Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man. And one of the videos that give us cause to say that is this video. It is from her Instagram stories from years and years ago. It says on here 109 weeks ago, and I believe this was screenshotted and posted a year ago. So quite a while. Let's go ahead and watch this, and we'll talk about what we think after.
Flag you. Brittany, let me see something real quick. Britt, thank you. Get the hell out of here, yo. Jab stepping, just a brick. Swing and a miss.
It obviously assumed that Brittney was male, and therefore being topless on the platform was totally fine.
It all started with a moment that seemed like just another heated exchange on the court, but quickly spiraled into something much larger and far more sinister. During a high-profile WNBA game, Brittney Griner, one of the league's most recognizable figures, elbowed rookie sensation Caitlin Clark. This wasn't your average foul. It was a calculated and deliberate assault caught crystal clear on camera. But what truly sent shockwaves through the sports world was what Griner said as she walked away. With multiple lip-reading experts later confirming, she mouthed the words, "trash effing white girl." Instantly, the footage spread like wildfire, online, drawing both outrage and disbelief. This wasn't just a physical attack, it had racial undertones that couldn't be ignored. As public outrage grew, medical experts unexpectedly entered the conversation, examining not only Griner's behavior, but her physical attributes, setting the stage for revelations that would shake the entire foundation of women's sports. Soon, after the video went viral, a team of medical experts specializing in sports medicine and gender-related performance began a deeper analysis of Griner. What they discovered was deeply unsettling. Examining Griner's skeletal structure, jawline, shoulder width, and muscle development, they noticed physical markers that are statistically rare, even among elite female athletes. Griner's voice, movement biomechanics, and unusually rapid injury recovery further compounded their concerns. Every piece of data hinted toward a biological profile that more closely aligned with male physiology than female. This wasn't speculative gossip, it was evidence-based analysis backed by scientific expertise. These findings didn't just question Griner's eligibility, they struck at the very heart of fairness in women's sports. Griner's panic wasn't just about the public backlash anymore. It was about the rapidly growing mountain of medical evidence that threatened to expose a scandal far more damaging than anyone initially imagined. The controversy intensified when an old Instagram story posted by Griner resurfaced. In the video, Griner appeared topless. But what caught experts' attention wasn't the video itself, but Instagram's AI moderation system. Instagram's platform, trained to automatically detect female nudity, left the video up for over 2 years without flagging it for explicit content. This is significant because the AI, designed and trained on countless images, failed to recognize any markers of female anatomy. Medical experts argue that this wasn't a simple oversight. It was further evidence supporting their findings. The AI's failure suggests it identified anatomical features more aligned with male physiology. This piece of digital evidence added another damning layer to the controversy, reinforcing what medical professionals were already warning about Griner's eligibility to compete in women's sports. As these disturbing revelations began piling up, the WNBA's response, or rather, their complete lack of response, raised even more red flags. The league has had multiple opportunities to publicly address the medical concerns, launch independent investigations, or at the very least, offer transparent communication. Instead, their deafening silence only fueled growing suspicions. How? Could someone with such significant physical discrepancies be allowed to compete without comprehensive biological testing? What kind of documentation was presented when Griner was cleared to play? These are questions the WNBA refuses to answer. The league's unwillingness to confront these allegations is not just suspicious, it borders on complicity. As more evidence surfaces, the WNBA's silence increasingly appears to be an intentional effort to suppress a scandal that could potentially dismantle the league's credibility and shake public confidence in the integrity of women's sports. The stakes in this controversy are not only ethical, but potentially legal and financial as well. If it's determined that Griner has been competing under false biological pretenses, it could lead to the nullification of her records, championships, and awards. Other athletes who competed against her could sue for lost opportunities, scholarships, and endorsements they were unfairly denied. The financial fallout could be catastrophic, not just for Griner, but for the entire WNBA and its sponsors. This scandal risks becoming one of the most unprecedented eligibility crises in sports history. And as legal experts begin weighing in, it's clear that the ripple effects could drag on for years, with lawsuits, hearings, and possible sanctions against the league itself. What started as one incident on the court may very well snowball into a financial and legal disaster, unlike anything the WNBA has ever faced. The stakes in this controversy are not only ethical, but potentially legal and financial as well. If it's determined that Griner has been competing under false biological pretenses, it could lead to the nullification of her records, championships, and awards. Other athletes who competed against her could sue for lost opportunities, scholarships, and endorsements they were unfairly denied. The financial fallout could be catastrophic, not just for Griner, but for the entire WNBA and its sponsors. This scandal risks becoming one of the most unprecedented eligibility crises in sports history. And as legal experts begin weighing in, it's clear that the ripple effects could drag on for years, with lawsuits, hearings, and possible sanctions against the league itself. What started as one incident on the court may very well snowball into a financial and legal disaster, unlike anything the WNBA has ever faced. What makes this scandal even more alarming is its potential to shatter the very structure of women's sports far beyond the WNBA. Medical experts warn that if these concerns are swept under the rug, it will open the door for similar eligibility disputes across every level of women's athletics, from youth leagues to the Olympics. The integrity of female competition relies on clear, enforceable biological standards that ensure fairness and safety. Allowing individuals with unverified or questionable biological advantages to compete not only undermines the decades-long fight for gender equity, but threatens to erase the legitimacy of women's sports entirely. This isn't just about Griner anymore. This is about protecting every female athlete who has fought for equal opportunity on a level playing field. In the wake of mounting evidence, calls for full biological testing across women's sports are becoming impossible to ignore. Medical experts insist that the days of self-identification and minimal documentation must come to an end. Comprehensive protocols, including chromosome analysis, hormone evaluations, bone density scans, and muscle composition studies, are the only way to preserve competitive fairness. These demands are not born out of prejudice or discrimination, but a deep commitment to scientific accuracy and protecting the integrity of women's athletics. Without such rigorous standards, leagues risk inviting permanent damage to their credibility, while undermining decades of progress made by female athletes who deserve fair and equal competition. Beyond sports, the international ramifications of this controversy could be staggering. If it's determined that Griner competed under false biological pretenses while representing the United States in international competitions, it could strain diplomatic relationships and tarnish America's credibility on the global stage. Griner's past legal troubles in Russia only add fuel to an already volatile situation. Foreign governments could seize on these revelations to question the legitimacy of U.S. athletic oversight, potentially triggering investigations into other American athletes as well. What started as a domestic controversy now carries the risk of morphing into a complex international scandal with consequences reaching far beyond the basketball court. At its core, this scandal represents the WNBA's most severe credibility crisis to date. With mounting scientific evidence and medical experts speaking out, the league's ongoing silence becomes less defensible by the day. The controversy has ballooned from a personal incident involving Griner into an institutional failure that threatens to shake public trust in the league itself. If the allegations are confirmed, the WNBA's decision to ignore clear warning signs, all in an effort to protect political narratives or favored players, will go down as one of the most damaging cover-ups in professional sports history. The league's future, and potentially the future of women's athletics as a whole, now hangs precariously in the balance.